Hello, Leo. This is Sherry at Soul Conscious Tarot, and this is going to be your July monthly overview reading. It's a general message, and it's timeless for whoever finds it. When you find it, there's probably in the message something in the message that's meant for you. Everybody's on different timelines, so you don't necessarily, like, you could be in an energy that is, maybe a month or a year behind, because we're all on different timelines. So with that being said, the way I do these readings each month is a little bit different than everybody else. I pull three lines, three rows of cards. The first row will be your conscious self. It's what you're feeling and thinking in the month of July on a conscious level. The middle row will be your subconscious self, what you're feeling and thinking at that subconscious level, more from the heart and the soul, that may not be, may be at that deeper level that you're not aware of. And then how do those two come together to form what you're manifesting in your physical reality for the month of July? So it kind of wraps up the two together in a final almost outcome message. And then I wrap it up with one final card for love for the month of July. I only do the one card because I do not choose to focus on love. There's many, many great love tarot readers out there, and feel free to watch any and all of those if you want, your love needs met. I'm not that person. I do one little love reading a weekend, little love thing, but I want to focus more on the deeper stuff, that soul deeper stuff, that learning lessons and the wisdom that comes from our soul level, that makes our reality so much better in the world when we learn those deeper things. So, okay, finally we got a card. I was wondering if something was going to pop up there. So I'm picking up, interesting enough, I am picking up change off of that card for you, Leo. We'll see go ahead and pull an emoji card. Interesting enough, I mean, it's it's Native American in a teepee, but what I really was drawn to is the triangle shape of that teepee is what I'm really picking up on. Like change, the delta, change. And then for your emoji card, it's a sense of surprise. Almost like you had it's like an epiphany. It's like I'm really picking up an epiphany moment for you, Leo. There might be something that happens in the month of July that is like, oh my God, that's what I've been doing wrong. Or, oh my gosh, why have I been doing this? Or, it's like a life-changing moment. Like it's an epiphany that is just like it's like the light bulb going off. Is what I'm really picking up, that it's like forces that change. Like I said, I really picked up change off of that Native American card. Just because I was drawn to the shape of the triangle shape of the teepee on it. Oh. Okay, well, that was pretty quick. Okay, so I see what's going on here, Leo. So you have some toxic behaviors, don't you? Some toxic behavior patterns, where, I think that, and I'm just picking this up. This is probably not going to resonate with every Leo out there. It's going to probably be a little bit hard to hear. It might be a little triggering. So understand, that if it does resonate with you, I send you love. That it's not meant to be hurtful in that dynamic, but to make you aware of things that may be going on. And the reason I say that is the message that comes up is that you may tend to be critical of people where you leave yourself out in the cold, where you have a hard time with lots of aspects of your life because you tend to be judgmental and critical of others. And that includes gossiping, talking about people behind their back, judging and criticizing them, not necessarily maybe, having someone else's best interest at heart, like always looking at the negative in people instead of the positive. And that tends to leave you, kind of isolated and out in the cold, where you're kind of feeling depressed and down, because you feel like there's nobody, you don't have it, you don't have people around you that support you and give to the relationship and in your life, because you've kind of been, can be sharp, you can be sharp and critical with them, and or feel like they're not good enough for you. I'm picking up all those, and so I'm saying all those because, it could be different for different Leos. But this is reading is geared toward those type of behaviors that Leos may or may not have, where, like I said, where you may be critical of other people in some way, whether you gossip about them, or you feel like they're not worthy of your time and attention, where you feel like you're better than them, or they're not good enough to be in your life, and in some way, those kind of hurtful energies, or like not having other people's best interest at heart, not being compassionate, and understanding of, like, really accepting of other people, is what I'm really picking up on for you, of how you're, kind of how you're feeling and thinking. But I see, that you're having that aha moment of realizing that you do this, that realizing, oh my gosh, no wonder people don't stay around, no wonder, I can't keep friends, that I have a hard time. No wonder I can't, I don't work really well with other people, because it's like, you've kind of, in a sense, isolated yourself because of your, because the way you look at other people. And I realize you wanting, it seems like it's like every message this month, for the month of July, is people coming to realizations in some way, and making those changes, or looking at, or seeing, just realizing them, and maybe not in the stage of making the changes yet. So for your soul self, we have DNA, which is 25 and 7. So, our DNA kind of, what I'm drawn to is DNA is hereditary. And so this could be, I'm going to say that this is learned behavior for you. You might have picked this up from a parent, or someone in your life as you were growing up. This is something that you've picked up from other people around you, that have influenced you in the way that you think and feel about other people, that they've had that, they may have been that way, and it caused you, to be that way, because it was that learned behavior. And I think that, you're realizing that you have this tendency to do that, that you tend to criticize and judge other people, and that has a tendency to make you feel isolated, feel kind of, it makes you disappointed, not only in others, but in yourself. It's like people let you down because you don't have a lot of faith in other people, and that lack of faith, because you feel like, it's that lack of faith that you have in other people or feeling like they're not good enough for you, or judging them and criticizing them, has left you feeling, down and almost like a little bit of, just kind of like alone, sad and alone, And it's like, how do I work with people? That's that toxic behavior of, of not wanting to be compassionate and understanding and kind to other people. Not showing that unconditional love for others and accepting them for who they are. It's kind of a little bit, can be a little bit of that mean girl mentality. A little bit. That's not going to be for everyone, but that came to mind. So it's kind of that, little bit of that, when you have, like, when you're in school and there's the different crowds, you have, the jock crowd, nerd crowd, or whatever. You have the different little groups. And so it's like, it's kind of like that where where one group looks negatively at the other group because they aren't, they aren't part of your little clique. That's what I was trying to get to, cliques. It's that where you may have grown up in that kind of, where you've learned to be kind of cliquey, where you judge people. Cliques tend to be, cliquey type groups like that tend to be very judgmental of other people that aren't part of the group, of their group. And so yeah, and so in your soul you have this desire. You're tired of being heartbroken, and it's you breaking your own heart because you don't have the tendency to truly offer something of substance to relationships that you're getting involved in, because I feel like there's this imbalance with the Two of Pentacles. It's like when you try and make that stable start, Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, when you try and make, start something new, that, you meet someone, or whether it be in, any aspect of life, for the first time, like there's always, like, it's like there's never, everyone around you is never your equal. You either view someone as either being over you or under you. It's like you don't look at people as true equals. You either, like I said, you stack them, rank them, stack them, and because you do that, because you have, kind of judge them in a sense, it leads to your heartbreak. You break your own heart, because by doing that, you're separating yourself. You're leaving yourself out in the cold. You're separating yourself from everyone else because you're saying you're different than everyone else. Either you're seeing people as better than you, or you're seeing people as below you, but you're not seeing anyone as equal to you. And that is causing this toxicity that leaves you heartbroken, that leaves you feeling isolated and sad and alone, and like nobody understands you, nobody cares about you. And so it's like, I feel like for some of you, and it may be this reading that does it, but you're going to have that moment, that epiphany. You're going to have that epiphany that might lead to, to change, that might lead to understanding, how to find your tribe, which talks about this Native American card. Native American cards, Native Americans are tribal. They were tribal community. So it's like finding your tribe, finding your tribe of people. And you can only do that when you see people as equal to you, and not above, not put them on a pedestal, or look at them as beneath you, like they're your peons, but come from that place of equal understanding and compassion and kindness, and say I value you as much as you value me. That Pentacles value, having, trying to balance that out and say, like I said with Two of Pentacles here, it's not balanced, it's like that, kind of up in the, where things are either, one ball's up or one coin's up, one's down, so it's that unequal, someone either being up here or down here, is what I'm really picking up on for you, Leo. So then we're going to go ahead and that was in your soul subconscious, is like it's telling you, that you have a tendency to do that, which leads to your heartbreak. When you try to have these stable new beginnings, you tend to self-sabotage them in a way by putting people above or beneath you and judging and criticizing them in some way, or, and judging them doesn't necessarily have to be negative judging. It can be, like I said, putting them on a pedestal, and showing them admiration instead of looking at them as your equal, So interesting enough, and I'm gonna call this out. So you have, for your physical self, you have flying. This is the exact same oracle card that came in the overview, that came out for this last week's, that I just published yesterday, for this week's soul weather forecast, for the last week of June. And so I highly recommend, that if you have time to maybe look at that message, because there's probably something in it, a takeaway from you, for you, in that message, which kind of talks about, going inside to learn something to bring out into the world. And I think that you're realizing, you're having that moment of realization, that might lead you to do that inner work. Let's see, what deck do I want to use here? I think I'm going to use this deck. Okay, so Knight of Swords. So that's someone that knows, that is ready to take action towards something, is ready to, that kind of, knows what they want and is ready to take action on it. Like, knows, you almost can't sway them. And it's like one step up, from that Queen of Swords energy. So it's like once you kind of know, once you kind of have that aha moment, it's with this flying card, I'm really being drawn to the labyrinth, which is, I talked about a little bit on, on that soul weather forecast, weekly forecast. Okay, so, okay, very interesting, because I kept feeling off of this Five of Cups, I kept feeling Five of Cups energy, that regret is showing up in your physical reality. So, with this King of Swords, it really is, someone that you have a hard time changing their mind. They've made a decision, and they're going to stick by that decision, and it's hard to change their mind. So I'm going to say, with the cards that are coming out here, be cautious, Leo, of the being in this kind of energy, where you, and especially since, Leo, you're a fixed sign, and fixed signs tend to be very stubborn and stuck in their ways and have a hard time changing, but if this is resonating with you, this message has resonated with you, you can tend to make up your mind about someone and then act impulsively on that decision, which leaves you regretful, which causes that pain at your soul level, because you've judged and criticized or been too harsh with someone, because you have judged them and made up your mind about someone. So you don't once you make up your mind about someone, you don't budge. Then you're just, your actions toward them are, you don't think long term, like, what can this person be of value in my life long term? You make a decision in the moment about that person when you meet them, and then it's so short-lived, but you it's like you get that impression in the moment, and you stick with it. That's the way you feel about that person, regardless of what they say or do. It's like you've already judged them, and you've already decided who they are to you, without thinking long term. And that leaves you, and then when it doesn't work out, or you end up missing opportunities, or it ends up leaving you in these situations where you are in regret and heartbroken and sad, Leo. And I think, this is a very, very great message for anyone that is going through that, because it really, it really brings that to the surface, and hopefully it will help you understand that if you tend to do that, if this resonates with you, and you tend to have these tendencies of judging someone the moment you meet them, without really getting to know them and know the person they are, and of what value they might hold to your life, that's going to cause you to potentially miss out on maybe some really good opportunities in your life, of people that could, that you could benefit from, if you wouldn't have judged them up front and got to know them, took the time to get to know them, and understand them, and understand who they are and what role they play in your life. Because no one comes into your life without a reason. There's no coincidences. Everyone that comes into your life, everyone you have contact with every day, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for that. Unless and things have to play out. And so if you're cutting people off and judging them right off the bat, and then all your actions toward them are based off of that first judgment of them, assessment of them, you could possibly miss out on some great opportunities in your life, Leo. So I think that's the message that wanted to come through for you. I think it's an awesome message. I'm not going to take those cards because there's a stack of them there. So we're going to go ahead, and if you like that message and it resonated, I'd love for you to leave any comments down below, and feel free to hit that like button and share your energy with me, and let me know that this message did indeed resonate with you. Also, I would love to have you as part of my group, and so if you subscribe to my channel, I'd love to have you as part of my group and my team, that I do readings every week, and that'll help you know when I'm doing them. So for your overall love energy for the month of July, Leo, I have the Knight of Pentacles. So that's talking about someone that he carries that Ace of Pentacles that is in your soul, that you're wanting and longing for, in your soul, your heart and soul. You're wanting more stable new beginnings in your relationships, you know. But he's, you know, Knight of Pentacles is very slow and can be stopped, and because it's wanting it's wanting to do things the right way, willing to work, having the determination and willingness to work on something, to provide that stability. And I see, you know, if this resonates, it's a Leo that is wanting to move into that energy of wanting to, you know, like have those more stable, valuable relationships, you know, not, you know, wanting to get out of that impulsive, you know, impulsive behavior of judging and criticizing, and really taking the time to let things unfold and relationships unfold the way they need to. So that's, you know, it's going to be, I see with that Knight of Pentacles, I really feel like, you know, he's not really moving. So there's not going to be anything moving in your love life substantially for the month of July. But I do realize that you're going to be, I think that, you know, you're going to realize there's some things that are going to come up that you're going to realize in context to the overall reading. So that's what I have for you for this month of July. Thank you so much, Leo, for joining me and tuning in and taking your time to join me this month. Thank you very much. I appreciate you greatly. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful month. Joy, love, and light.